that's what I wanted to show you yesterday. I forgot. And about that, my point is, what if we could just double down on our strong side? That's all. That's what I wanted to say. It's easy to see looking back, but that's how we learn. So would you rather create something that fails or not create anything at all? So only a few years back, maybe 5 years back, I said this to my mom and I meant it. I hate sewing. I'll never sew ever again in my life. And no one can convince me otherwise. What changed? No matter what, all things change. Nothing will stay the same. That was not the point. This is what changed. I believe this is what changed. Fast forward a few years later, I was sitting in the car thinking to myself, man, I'm so glad I have the sewing. That is the only real light that I have in my life right now. And from that moment on, so many mornings I was waking up, I couldn't wait to get out of bed because I was so excited about whatever project I was working on. And that's the power. But I don't think that could have happened without doing this. And so I read in this book, there was this girl, she was making music, I believe, and she hadn't been able to make anything for a long time. And then someone or herself had removed these trapped emotions of creative insecurity, and then her creativity just flowed, and she wrote like she never had written before. And I read that and I was like, oh, maybe it's that simple. Maybe I have so much creativity, it's just trapped in there somewhere. And I didn't believe that, but it was worth a shot. And I ended up removing so many trapped emotions of creative insecurity. And only after doing that, I could have fun with it. The thing about creativity is that you meet yourself in the door. You meet your inner critic, it becomes so loud. Say you're at the beginning of a project, it's that moment you don't know if this is going to work out. The only thing you know is that it's going to take some time before you know. So either you can just give up before even trying, or you have to start walking in blind. No, that's not how to say that. You have to start walking not knowing if your efforts are going to be worth it or not. And that's where the truth comes in. Because if you really enjoy what you're doing in the moment, you don't care if it's going to work out or if it's not going to work out. You just care that you're there and you still have faith. And as long as the faith's there, you want to keep going. That's the difference when you know that I'm only doing this for the results. I don't enjoy the process. That's that's the best sign that you should stop what you're doing. But yesterday I was at that place, this shirt I'm making. This feels like a mess. I don't know if it's going to work out. And you stop. It's the evening, you stop at a place where it still doesn't look good. And the only thing that was missing is just to iron it. And there you can see the potential blooming already. wow, this can actually turn into something. That image that I had in my head before starting, it's not completely lost yet. There's still hope, and that's when you know it's worth keeping going. However, this is the fun part about sewing. If I say to someone, I like sewing, they tend to skip to the conclusion that I like sitting next to a sewing machine and pressing my foot on the pedal. Like pressing the pedal, like I love that. That's so much fun. Changing the thread, putting the needles in. It has nothing to do with that. That's why when someone asks you, can you put up my curtains, please? Because you love sewing and you know how to sew. No, that's a nightmare. I don't want to do that. The fun part is the creative part. You have a vision and you want to bring that vision to life. That's what gives everything else the meaning. So, yeah, we could do anything as long as we enjoy the process, but we tend to enjoy the process a lot more when we believe in it, when we feel that inner fire. And most of the time, that inner fire, it comes from something beyond what's here right now. That's the definition of creativity. You're creating something, it doesn't yet exist, so you have to walk by faith and not by sight. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Before going, let's discuss a few things. This is so random. I was just thinking I should make a separate video on that. But this book that I bought, I love it so much. Can you see it? Can you see this book? Such a good book. And this is the second edition. The first edition saved my life, and I read it in 2018 for the first time. So now this I picked up last week, and this one is in English, and it's the updated version. And there was a few things in here that wasn't in the first one, and they surprised me. They didn't surprise me. Amazed me. One thing is that when you have a peach or a nectarine maybe, and you sit around a table of people, you spin it, and where the bottom of the fruit ends, pointing towards whatever person, that's the person who needs the fruit the most. Isn't that fascinating? And about the hibiscus, it wasn't there before. And it says that if you hold the dried hibiscus before you make tea from it, it can help you bring up and process emotions. Like, I can't put it in exact words, but it's so well explained. One more thing that I read that before, and now it just sinks in how deep this actually is. I couldn't find it, but it's something like this. So a coconut tree, when the storm arrives, it's very quick to drop its nuts, its fruits, because it knows that holding on to them during a storm, that will increase the chances of the tree going down. So instead of risking going down the entire tree, it just drops its fruit. Can you think about that? A tree, like, oh, the storm is coming, I'm dropping my fruit. Isn't that a little bit insane when you think about it? I wanted to speak about cravings actually. It's because cravings used to be such a big part of my life, and now I don't have them anymore. And it's mostly because of the information in this book, and it helped me so much. This tea is the biggest craving killer, and it's free right now. Anywhere you can pick this. It's such a lifesaver, game changer. So we've been making a few videos, and the theme is that there's always that voice. Whatever, even if you're creating something, there's this voice in the back of your head, like, is this good enough? Is this even worth anything? Like, in the end, who are we creating for? Ourselves. Do we like it? Does it feel good? I know I said this, but there's this check-in, because sometimes how you feel in your head, it doesn't reflect reality. It does not reflect how someone else are perceiving you. I was in this competition, and there were people watching, so intense, like small, cozy, and a scene. And I was there doing my speech. Okay, so everything went fine, and I was satisfied. Like, I delivered what I knew I wanted to. I went back, I sit down, and then I start like, oh my god, how is this perceived by the other people in the room? I totally made a fool of myself, and I jumped to this conclusion out of the blue. So I looked around, I looked at the woman coming with me, and like, oh my god, are you still here with me? Like, are you embarrassed sitting next to me now after what I just did? And maybe that's why it's so quiet in the room right now, because I just totally humiliated myself, and that didn't reflect reality at all. That's the thing. If you want to be creative, you have to meet that. All of your insecurities, everything will come up. The smallest thing, you're making the smallest thing. Smartest thing we can do is to just keep improving, keep staying true to ourselves. And what's going on in other people's head, we will never know. And we're not meant to know. Such a tough one, especially if you experienced any type of criticism or humiliation before. I can understand why so many people choose to not create. Absolutely. Yeah, since we're here, I have this completely random question. The principal in Matilda, is she a personification of society? I need to know. Not society as a whole, just the dark part.